Om 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 Sahana Avatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavakai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. बोलिए श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. ओम सदाशिव समारंभां शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां वंदे गुरु परंपराम्. समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्. ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः. Hari Om. Welcome to this new series on Vedanta Shravana Sadhana Yagna. The text is Vivekachoodamani. Viveka means to distinguish between one and the other. Viveka in this context means to distinguish between what is I and what is not I. What is this? What is truth and what is untruth? So even in neuroscience today, there is a quote by Anil Seth. The brain is constantly making decisions on what is me and what is not me. So this is the essence of Viveka. When I distinguish between what is me and what is not me, my choices and decisions in life will be on taking care and protecting of what is me and allowing what is not me to be. There is no cruelty in this. It is just wisdom, clear logic, and a proper understanding of the self, in which the welfare of this whole world is included. If we don't have this understanding, then we give our attention, love, and energy to whatever is not me, whatever is not I, and we place our trust in something which is temporary, which will fade away, and because of it, we go through a lot of sorrow and suffering. The purpose of Vedanta is to remove sorrow. We can read any book, any other book in life, any storybook, any novel, anything that will give us joy for some time. It will give us some information. It will give us knowledge. It may help us to earn more money in this world. But any of those literature will not help to remove our sorrow. Our sorrow is something that keeps coming from an unconscious source from within. The unconscious source is, I don't know who I truly am. Because I do not know who I truly am, I believe that I am something, and that something is a bag of sorrows. It is a home of sorrows. It is a bedrock of sorrows. So like a tissue paper from the tissue paper box, one sorrow comes, you look at that sorrow, you handle the sorrow, it is gone, and the next sorrow is in its place. So if we want to live a happy life, free of sorrow, free of grief, free of suffering, then it is a must, it is a requirement to have Viveka. Viveka means there are many words to express Viveka. The Sanskrit dhatu is which, V-I-C, which, and it means to separate. It means to distinguish between the two things. Very simple Viveka is, this is a glass case and this is a water bottle. This is a water bottle mat. So you can just simple things. Then you can talk of distinguishing between this is the head, this is the hand, these are the fingers, these are the wrists, this is the palm, these are the lines on the palm. So many differences we can see. Spot the 6 differences. In magazines, you get that. It's actually based on Viveka. Whenever we do the game of spot the differences, or when we separate things and arrange them, we strengthen our capability or capacity for Viveka. Vivekachoodamani, or the crest jewel. Chudamani means the jewel that is worn on top, completely on the crown. The befitting jewel that is a hallmark of royalty. That jewel is called Chudamani. It is a kind of jewel which is the final placing of a jewel on the head is called Chudamani. So Vivekachoodamani is the final placement of some quality in us that completes the path of a human being. Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda has written this whole text of Vivekachoodamani. His audios are also available, Chinmaya Mission centers and bookshops. Vivekachoodamani is a detailed exposition of the whole text of 581 verses. So let us see, according to Gurudev's grace and Puja Guruji's blessings, the blessings of Puja Swami Swarupanandaji, the head of Chinmaya Mission, and all other great Mahatmas, let us get into the study of this beautiful text called Vivekachoodamani. The beginning of any text is with salutation, because according to tradition, people take up a book to read only if it has got Mangala Charanam. Mangala Charanam means there should be an auspicious beginning to the book. These are some of the rules that authors have to follow when they write books. And accordingly, Bhagwan Adisankaracharya, many of whose texts we have been studying on these different episodes on YouTube in Chinmaya Surya channel, beginning with Tattva Bodha, Sadhana Panchakam, Tattva Bodha, Prashnotri Ratnamalika, in the Vision of Vedanta series. Now, following the Bhagavad Gita, which completed from January end of 2022 to June end of 2023, 18 months of Bhagavad Gita we were listening in Tamil. Vivekachoodamani will be in English. So let us begin. The first verse. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. So Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tam Agocharam. The one who has understood that Sadguru, Bhagwan Sri Adisankaracharya is here referring his salutations to his own Guru, Govinda Bhagavad Padacharya, who is a master of Vedanta and Siddhanta. Vedanta is the end of knowledge. Siddhanta is the end of all achievements or application of that knowledge, which refers to a realized master. Gocharam means he has understood the teachings of Vedanta and Siddhanta. Gocharam. Tam Agocharam. But we cannot really understand who he is. So in that same way, Govindam Paramanandam. That Govindam, my Guru, Parama Anandam, who gives me supreme joy, supreme bliss. For any student, the presence of the Guru is something that which gives happiness and joy. The Guru who showed them the path to Bhagavan. The Guru who shows them the truth, shows them the reality. Sat Gurum, the Guru of Sat. The one who taught me where is Sat, what is Sat, how can I find it, what can I do to find that, and how can I remain in that. Sat Guru. Sat means reality. Pranatosmi aham. Pranataha, prakarshena nataha. I salute, I surrender. And this can be referring to the Guru also. It can be referring to Bhagavan Sri Krishna as Govindam Parama Anandam. The Govinda is the name of Krishna. Go yatra vindate, the sense organs, through the eyes, through the ears, through the nose, through the tongue, and through the skin, the energy or prana, along with the knowing of the mind, leaves through the sense organs. It travels with the mind, falls on the objects, and comes back and reports to the mind again for the understanding of the intellect. So everything we are that is a common process that's happening. The time we open our eyes and we look out into the world, this transaction is happening. So this is called Govinda, where the senses go and reach. All the senses finally go and take refuge in this place, and that is called Govinda, or consciousness, or Bhagavan Sri Krishna, the giver of joy. Why is it called giver of joy? That when that life is present in abundance, we are experiencing joy. When wisdom is present in abundance, when there is clarity, when there is energy, when there is power, when there is love, we experience joy. Our joy gets fulfilled only under these conditions. Otherwise, it's only a temporary joy that we experience. Parama Anandam Sadgurum Pranataha Asmi Aham. So we'll go to these are very interesting verses where Bhagavan Sri Adisankaracharya lovingly prods us, pokes us to make an effort to know the truth. Because we are living a very happy life. We are living a life enjoying greatly, suffering greatly, as one great author has written the first lines of his novel. I think it is Charles Dickens. Enjoyed greatly, suffered greatly. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. So we go through the best of times, we go through the worst of times. We enjoy greatly, we suffer greatly. But we enjoy, we don't want suffering, but we also suffer. The brain has got that interesting capacity because the brain loves us so much. It keeps hiding the suffering all the time, hiding the sorrow all the time. We go through sorrow, we go through pain, we go through suffering, but quickly we forget that because the brain does not want us to revel, to stay in that zone for a long period of time. So our suffering, we don't know what is the cause for our suffering, and we keep enjoying. Or we think we are enjoying when actually we may be suffering in this world with many problems, very many diseases, many differences of opinion, many clashes, non-acceptance of situations, relationships with people are very difficult sometimes, and then objects that we love we don't get, objects that we don't love are surrounding us all the time. We don't know what to do with them, how to dispose of them. So all these kinds of problems we have in this world, but still we really don't seek the everlasting happiness or truth or whatever it may be called that the masters have been telling us. So Adi Shankaracharya here points out the importance of human life, the importance of human birth in this verse. Jantunam narajanma durlabhamataham pumstvam tato vipratam tasmat vaidika dharma marga paratam vidvatvam asmat param atmanatma vivechanam svanubhavo brahmatmana samsthitihi muktirno shata janma koti sukritaihi punyair vina labhyate. Jantunam narajanma durlabha. Every great Mahatma, in many languages, they've said this. It is very difficult to get this human birth, meaning life exists in everything. Life exists in objects as Sat. in inert objects, in mountains, life exists as Sat. If you see a crystal piece or a stone or some inert object that does not move, it is just there. It is not without life. There is existence, there is life in that, but it cannot move, it cannot speak, it cannot think, it cannot act on its own. It will be where it is, and something has to act on it to move it and take care of it. That is Sat. Then in plants, life exists. There's a little bit of sensitivity, little bit of movement possible, but the plants are rooted where they are. They have to be watered, tended, and taken care of for them to grow, and then they sustain strongly. But till the time they need care, they cannot do anything for themselves. They respond to sunlight, they flower, they bring out leaves, they shed their leaves. Everything happens in the same place for plants. When it comes to animals, they have more capabilities than plants. Capability of moving out, capability of taking their own food, getting their own food. Certain types of animals, and some animals are still domestic and they have to be taken care of. So animals have that ability, but still they don't have the ability to think for tomorrow, plan for tomorrow, or worry about yesterday, or learn from past mistakes. Only in the present moment, whatever comes before their five senses, they can see, act, and respond. But it is only human beings who have been given with this beautiful capacity of thinking, of solving problems, of understanding problems, of analyzing and counting, writing, reading, speaking, expressing as laughter, entertaining, so many things human beings can do, which the other animals, plants, and insects cannot do. They can think, they can inquire, they can go deep into the truth, they can go and find reality. That is the ultimate thing that the human being is capable of. And Jantunam Narajanma Durlabham. So the human birth is very, very rare. Then even though there's so many crores of human beings, billions of human beings on this planet. So that also may not seem very rare for us. So what? So many children are being born all the time. Day in and day out, population is increasing. So it doesn't seem to be rare for us if we say, Ataha Pumstvam Tato Viprata. Pumstvam means a quality of manliness. It is not that women are not capable. It is that the quality of feminine womanhood, it has got something that responds to the world in terms of the demands, especially taking care of bringing forth babies, taking care of babies, attending to them, loving objects around us. The ability to detach, withdraw, and be on our own is very rare for women. But there are many women Rishikas who have been there, like Maitreyi, and so many Rishikas who have spoken the Upanishads, who have brought up very great kings, very wise kings, who are very powerful women, have always been there in our tradition. So it is not about condemning women to not learn the Shastras and to not not to inquire about the truth. It requires manliness, means it requires detachment, it requires a capacity to distinguish between what is mine and what is not mine, what is me and what is. It's a more brain work. Women have got a lot of heart investment in them. They have got a lot of investment in feelings, emotions, sentiments also, which they entertain, which is lesser in men. And so these qualities of being analytical, being being radical in the thinking, being discriminative in our understanding, experiencing clarity in thought, and withdrawing from whatever does holds us back into this world, withdrawing from everything that is not allowing us to be free. All those qualities, to have those qualities are rare. Even after that, Viprata. Vipra means being knowledgeable in the Shastras. We do so many practices to quieten the mind, to steady the mind. We do Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. So many practices we do. But a person who studies the Shastras will know what is the power of every practice. If I do this, what will happen? If I do this, what will happen? If I don't do this, what will happen? That kind of knowledge is there in the Shastras. The path of evolution is shown in the Shastras. So when we study the Shastras, so we will become Vipra. Vipra is having special knowledge. Tasmat Vaidika Dharma Marga Parata. We may have special knowledge, but people, whenever there is too much of knowledge and information overload, there is action paralysis. People don't want to convert that knowledge. That knowledge becomes useful. Knowledge is only potential. That knowledge becomes kinetic when you process that knowledge and convert it into action. So Vaidika Dharma Marga Parata means being attached. People may be knowledgeable. There are so many people who know a lot, who have studied the Shastras, who have studied the Upanishads. They say, why do we need to attend satsangs? We sit at home, we watch YouTube channels. So many talks are there on YouTube. So many books are available on, we can read it on the computer, free of cost also we can read, or we can read pirated versions also. We don't need to go to the library also these days. Everything is available at our doorstep, in our own room where we are sitting. It's available. But that's not that. Knowledge alone is not important. The knowledge, for example, Satyam Vada, speak the truth, is the knowledge that the Shastras tell us. It is not only important to know that I have to speak the truth, but practicing it in my life by speaking the truth. That is Vaidika Dharma Marga Parata. Living a life of Vaidika Dharma, discharging our duties and responsibilities according to what the Shastras have told us to do. That means living a life of Brahmacharya, student life, Grihastha Dharma, Vanaprastha Dharma, Sannyasa Dharma. All these things are being mentioned in the Shastras and what we do during those periods of time. Vitvatvam Asmat Param, not only become Vaidika Dharma Marga Parata, or being affiliated and attached and living a life of service to society according to the Shastras, and also gaining knowledge in that path of what we are doing. Vitvatvam means you become an unshakable person in the field of your knowledge. In the field of your work, there is no one to beat you because your level of understanding, your level of appreciation of that, and your level of ability to tackle problems in that area is superlative. Vidvatvam Asmat Param. Then finally, there are some people who do this and stop there at being Vidwans or being called a knowledgeable person. He knows about that subject. That's a Vidwan. After that, Atma Anatma Vivechanam. Being able to distinguish between who am I and what is not I. Atma Anatma Vivechanam. Swa Anubhavo. After being able to distinguish between who am I and what is not I, having the experience of that I, having the experience of what it means to be the self, what it means to remain as the self. Swanubhavo, Brahmatmana Samstitihi. Then being established in that state of Brahman or the reality, the truth, that love that surpasses all, the truth that surpasses all understanding, the love that surpasses all disturbances, samstitihi, So there's a last line of warning. Muktir no shata janma koti sukritaihi. There is no freedom even after doing good actions. For how many janmas? Shata janma koti. Shata janma koti means 100 crores of lifetimes. We do punya karmas. We do good actions according to the Shastras, whatever they have said. There is no mukti. There is no liberation or there is no freedom. Mukti means, mukti is basically something like, I'll give an example with water. Water is present in the form of ice. And when that ice block, when heat is applied to it, it melts. Here, our prana or our individual personality is present as an ice block of ahamkara. We have that feeling of I. That feeling of I will melt, will begin to melt when we increase the heat of sadhana, when we increase the heat of love through our devotion, and when we focusedly act on the work that we need to do through karma yoga without identifying myself as a doer of the action and without expecting any particular results of the action that keep me in that frozen condition. When I expect results, I'm giving importance to the I that is here in a very frozen condition. So, and when this I begins to hear about the truth from the Shastras and this I begins to meditate, initially the truth is only in the form of a thought, a very thin line of lights, that light and heat, which is going to melt the eye. The thin line of light and heat, with constant meditation, there is an increase in energy, there is an increase in power, there is an increase in heat generated within, that this eye melts. Like that ice which melts, this eye melts and it just evaporates. So what is there as vapor and what has been there as ice is the same thing. In the same way, what is there is this body, mind, and intellect, and the energy, and that consciousness is made of the same stuff. We live without realizing this because we have never paid attention to this. Our attention has always been on objects of the world, what we get out of the world, what we can enjoy, how we are suffering, and all that. The moment we start paying attention to this, this begins to melt and dissolve. And when that dissolving happens with knowledge, then it becomes mukti or moksha. The dissolving happens anyway at the time of death for everybody. But when there is no knowledge that I am that consciousness which is evaporated everywhere, present everywhere, and in this physical presence I am present. If that knowledge has not happened, then there is a birth again. That is what Bhagavan Adisankaracharya says. Muktir no shata janma koti sukritaihi. How much ever we do and engage in this world, whatever we are going to get, the final beatitude in life is not going to happen because of the work we do, the money we earn, the movies we go to, the enjoyments that we have. No. The final beatitude, the final calmness, the final experience of the truth is going to happen when we turn more and more into love of our own true self and love for the whole world. Muktir no shata janma koti sukritaihi punyaihi vina labhyate. Mukti, this word, if you are listening to this Vivekachoodamani, according to Bhagavan Sri Adisankaracharya, if you are listening to this text and if you have listened to this this verse, you should be assured that you have lived 100 crores of lifetimes and have done punya karmas, very auspicious and meritorious actions, meaning punya karmas are actions towards the gods, actions towards our ancestors, offerings to society, offerings to our family, offerings to the rishis, and offerings to the devatas, all that we have done in 100 crores of lifetimes. If we have to do that in 100 crores of lifetimes, we might have lived for many, many thousand crores of lifetimes in many different forms. Like our Manika Vasagar says in Shiva Puranam, Pullagi Pudai Puduvai Maramagi Palvirugamagi Paravayai Pambagi Kallai Manidarai Peyai Gananganai Vallasuraragi Munivarai Devarai Sellaga Nindra Yittavara Jangamattul Yella Pirappum Pirandilaithen Yemperuman. I have been a grass, blade of grass. I have been a worm. I have been a stone. I have been a tree. I have been many, many animals. I have been birds. I have been snakes and reptiles and lizards. And then Paravai I pump. I have been stones. Different types of stones. And evolved stones like crystals also I have become. Kallai, Manidarai. I've been human beings in many, many lifetimes. Paravayai, Kallai, Manidarai. Rishis, I've been Rishis, I've been Devas, I've been Munis, the contemplative ones, I've been all that. Ittavara Jangamatul. Among what is stationary and what is moving, I've lived through many processes in many lifetimes. So that is what our Ella Pirappum Pirandi Ilaithin. I've been born and I become weak and emaciated and I die also. So all that we have gone through. So after all this, when we get to an opportunity where we listen to the word Vedanta, the end of knowledge, we listen to the word Advaita, we listen to the word Mukti, we listen to the word emancipation or freedom, liberation, knowing the self, we should just become alert. And like the dog on the road, if there's some disturbing sound, its ears will perk up like that. In the same way, our ears have to perk up, we have to give attention because we have lived many crores of lifetimes doing good actions. And so it is time to reap the benefit of these actions. Because we have done good actions, we are able to listen to all these words. We are able to patiently hear up to this half an hour of this video. To even hear this, it is because of the good actions done in the past. And then Bhagavan Adisankaracharya tells in another beautiful verse, Dullabham trayame vaitat devanugraha hetukam manushyatvam mumukshutvam mahapurusha samshraya. Three things are very rare. It's a continuation of the previous verse. Manushyatvam. The three rare things we get only because of grace of the gods. Where are the grace of the gods? It doesn't come from the mountains. It doesn't come from the heavens. It doesn't flow like the river from outside. When we face it, the gods are all sitting inside us. Gods are different powers behind the eyes, behind the nose, behind the ears, behind the tongue, behind the skin. Whatever we are seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, the inputs are coming and the inputs are being processed in a very divine manner. Very divine qualities we have. We have accumulated those qualities because of our sadhana, swadhyaya, seva, satsanga, and all the good actions that we have done in so many crores of lifetimes. We have learned the art of processing those experiences in a very nice manner. It is very much like cutting vegetables or putting stuff on the pan. And then when you start frying it, we have to process it and cook it in a very nice manner. Otherwise, how much ever great the inputs have been, it is not going to be tasty to eat. So we have got all those experiences and we have been processing those experiences so well. And because of that, our response is coming in a very, very graceful manner. We have received inputs through the years. We have processed it with love and compassion. And because of that, we speak compassionate words. We have processed problems. Problems are coming to us. We process them with intelligence, applying our mind, patience, so many things we apply and we process it. And when it comes out as integrity, it expresses as sincerity, it expresses as skill, capability in handling that situation with love. That is what grace is all about. Grace is like packets of energy exploding from within, which converts all our experiences into beautiful expressions into the world. So, this grace only gives us Manushyatvam. Over many lifetimes of being different animals, plants, and other species, up to the animal species, the choice, there is no choice about evolution. The whatever one animal is afraid of, that will be the last thought. For example, a rat is always afraid of a cat, and when the rat dies, it will be born as a cat. The cat is afraid of some other animal. If it dies, it will become that animal. And finally, you have in the end of the species tigers and lions, which are not afraid of anything. After that, they are born as human beings. And so, Durlabham Manushyatvam. So, you get a human birth because choicelessly in the animal life, you have lived according to the dharma. You have lived according to your nature of expression. And then in human life, you get Manushyatvam, where you have a choice of how to express. Everybody does not need to express with love, express with anger, hatred, jealousy, excessive desires. We can create harm in society. We can also create good in society. Manushyatvam, the choice is there with us. Mumukshutvam, the desire for freedom. If you feel that, yes, I want to be free, I want to experience that freedom. Freedom is the ability to be not disturbed by our thoughts, disturbed by our emotions and feelings, and disturbed by the people, objects, and situations around us. Being able to live an independent life, take independent decisions, and serve in this world independently without being disturbed by what we get in return. That is mumukshutvam or freedom. And then Mahapurusha Samshrayaha, the association with great masters who have mastered this truth of who I am, and they are established in that, and they are ready to teach that to others who are willing to learn. So, if we get these three things, know that it is because of Deva Anugraha or divine grace, the blessings of divine grace, these three things which are very rare. So we have all got Manushyatvam, we are all human beings. We have got Mumukshutvam. If you are listening up to now, you don't need to have any doubt about that. Mumukshutvam means Moksho me bhuyat iti ichha, the desire that I may be free. And then Mahapurusha Samshrayaha, that also you have got, because great masters like Swami Chinmayananda, Bhagavan Sri Adisankaracharya has given us this knowledge in such beautiful verses with such commentaries that we can read them, appreciate them, understand them, try to experiment with them, and follow them in our life and achieve that goal which they point out. We have all the three, and there is no doubt about it. And in the next verse, he says, he's actually deriding, making fun out of anxiousness. He feels a guru is one who has got so much of compassion that he is not able to tolerate the fact that people can have all this and just decide to while away the time and do any which thing they want. The next two verses are pointing out about that. Labdhva kathanchit narajanma durlabham tatrapi pumstvam shruti paradarshanam yastvatma muktau yateta mudhatihi sahyatmaha svam vinihantya sadgrahat labdhva kathamchit. Somehow you have got this rare human birth. Nara Janma Durlabham. Very rare human birth. Labdhva Katamchit. By freak or accident or hard work or blessing, or whatever it may be, you have got this. Tatrapi pumstvam. You've got that quality of manliness which has the ability to withdraw from situations that bind you, whatever it may be, and the ability to think, analyze, and understand pumstvam without being very sentimental and emotional. Tatrapi pumstvam. And then you've also got this Shrutipara Darshanam. You have the ability and the opportunity. Why Shrutipara Darshanam? In those days, people who study the Upanishads should have studied all the Vedas before. They should have spent many, many years having studied the Vedas and done the Karma Kanda portion of the Vedas, doing havans, doing pujas and homas, and all those things they should have done. Only then they will get this thought of Upanishad, the ability to study them will be taught to them. Shrutipara Darshanam. So if you are hearing the Shrutis, the Vedas, the Upanishads talking to you about the self, then it has all happened in your life, either in this lifetime or in the previous lifetimes. Yes, tu Atma Muktau na yateta. After getting all this, if one person doesn't want to work or put an effort or take a step forward towards realization of who I am, the self, na yateta mudha dhihi. Mudha means inert intellect. The intellect is very dull. The intellect is not responding to what needs to be done. Dhi means intellect. Mudha means inert. Mudha dhihi. Then he says, Sahi Atmaha Vinihanti Asadgrahad. That person is actually committing suicide. Atmaha means one person who commits suicide. Vinihanti Asatgrahat. Vinihanti means he destroys himself by what? Holding on to untruth. Like when a person has to study for the exam and appear for the exam tomorrow, if that person has not studied earlier and the previous night of the exam also, he is going for a movie with his friends and he is going for a party and coming home late and sleeping, not sleeping well, getting up and taking his pen and pencil and appearing for the exam, that person is actually asadgraha. He is holding on to untruth. He is not holding on to what is going to help him in his life. What is going to help him in writing his exams, preparing for the exams, studying well for the exams, taking good rest in the previous night, eating well, sleeping well, exercising well, and going for the exam, then he'll be able to write the exam well. If he doesn't do all this and he has been whiling away his time, he's holding on to what is not going to help him. Asadgrahat. And Adi Shankaracharya says, Itakon vasti moodhatma yastu swarte pramadyati durlabham manusham dekam prapya tatrapi paurusham. This word durlabham has come thrice in the last three shlokas. When something is being repeated so many times, it stresses the importance of that. Itakon vasti moodhatma. Even the word moodha, Mudadihi, is also repeated 2 times here. Muda means don't be dull, is what Adi Shankaracharya is saying. Itakko kaha anu asti mudhatma. Can there be a greater fool than this? Yastu, a fool. If you want to cheat somebody else, it is okay. We can say we are cunning at least. But if you want to cheat yourself, you are only a fool. Only a fool will want to cheat his own self. Yastu swarte pramadyati. A person who is very relaxed and not doing anything. Pramada is an obstacle in yoga. Yoga means the mind gets united with the intellect is yoga. Between the unity of the mind and intellect, there are 9 obstacles. One of the obstacles is pramada. And pramada is being very relaxed about what we really have to do to improve ourselves. All the aspects of meditation, japa, sadhana, the many different ways of purifying the mind. If we don't do, we are very relaxed. Yes, too. And in what are we relaxed? We are relaxed on improving ourselves. We are relaxed On the word procrastination itself means I postpone things. It means I postpone my own goodness. I don't do things on time because I don't want to feel good. If we do something, if something is created around very beautifully, we feel good. We don't do it because we don't want to feel good. We don't understand that. We think that it is very pleasurable to postpone something or not do something. Yastu swarte pramadyati. After what? After getting durlabham, the very rare to get, manusham deham, a manushya deha, a human body, and prapya tatra api paurusham. Paurusham not only necessarily means a male body, because the shastras are not told for the body. There is no shastra possible for the body because the body is going to die. That mind which is listening to this is neither male nor female. It can appear in a male body, it can appear in a female body. It doesn't matter. So, Paurusham here means the qualities of manliness, the qualities of the right discrimination, the right dispassion, the ability, the power to focus and do something that we need to do in life. Orpu, Kadaipidi, there are four things where a man is supposed to do, according to our Tamil literature. Orpu, Kadaipidi, then one thing is about segregating and understanding, analyzing, and protecting. Protecting what needs to be protected, avoiding what needs to be avoided is one thing. Orpa is analyzing things. Kadaipidi is having a project for one's own self and working on that project day in and day out. It can be music, it can be cricket. It is called Paurusham, means applying my energy into something very constructive in this world is Paurusham. It is not just being man or manliness, but developing something, working on something is manliness. And then working for liberation is also a quality of a man according to our Tamil literature. Paurusham, prapya tatrapi paurusham. So that is why it's called Purushartha. Moksha is called Purushartha. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Paurusham is Purusha. Puri Shayanatiti Purushaha. The being, the Ahankara, the ego that is there inside, that ego has the capacity to raise itself, to explore itself, and to realize itself. It is not contaminated by anything. The ego does not have the property of any other body, mind, or anything is not there. But it gets attached to everything, it identifies with everything, and so it appears as if it is being impacted by all that. So this ego to realize that it is a self is the whole process of this Paurusham. Durlabham manusham deham prapya tatrapi paurusham. So a person who has got this manusha deha and has also got this quality of manliness or the quality of dispassion, what to say if they are going to be very lazy and relaxed about their own well-being and welfare and emancipation? Then he says, what all if you keep doing, nothing is going to happen until you realize who you truly are. Vadantu shastrani yajantu devan kurvantu karmani bhajantu devataha atmaikya bodhena vina vimuktihi na siddhyati brahma shatantarepi. Vadantu shastrani. You can study all the shastras. You can quote from the shastras. Yajantu devan. You can worship all gods. Kurvantu karmani. You can do many actions. Bhajantu devataha. You can serve gods in all your life. Atmaikya bodhena. If you don't realize that I am that self, vina vimuktihi. There is no freedom. There is no emancipation. Na siddhyati. Brahma Shata Antarepi. Brahma Shata means 100 lifetimes of Brahmaji, that the creator Brahmaji, the creator of this universe, 100 of his lifetimes. That means 3,111,040 years, 40 followed by 9 zeros. That many years, meaning it is never going to happen, is what is being said. There is a very beautiful song by Kabir Das. He says, where all God is not there, and finally where God is there, where self is there. Moko kaha ढूंढे रे बंदे मैं तो तेरे पास में, मोको कहा ढूंढे रे बंदे मैं तो तेरे पास में. I am very near you. This I is the self. So where is this I not there? Adi Shankaracharya says, Vadantu shastrani yajantu devan kurvantu karmani bhajantu devataha. You do all this work. God is not there. Na तीरथ में न मूर्त में न एकांत निवास में. I am not in the holy places. I am not in the different divine forms. I am not in ekanta vasa. You stay alone. You think God is there. He says, I am not there. Na mandir mein, na masjid mein, na kashi kailash mein. In all the temples and all the churches and masjids, you search for me. In Kashi and Kailash and other holy places, you search for me. I am not there. Na me jap mein, na me tap mein, na me varat upas mein. I am not in japa. I am not in tapa. I am not in all the different vratas or the vows that I take and upavas, all the fastings that I do. I am not there. You cannot see me there. Na me kriya karma me rehta kurban karoti karmani. Kurbantu karmani. He says, you do for many lifetimes, you do actions, you do karma. Na me kriya karma me rehta. I don't stay in all. Kriyas means actions done with the body, for the body. Karma means actions done outside. Karma me rehta. I don't stay there. Na yoga sannyas mein. I'm not in yoga. I'm not in unity of the mind and the intellect. The practice is done for that. I'm not in sannyasa, where you take up a robe and practice something towards liberation. I'm not there in that either. Nahi pran mein, nahi pind mein, na brahmand akash mein. I'm not in prana. I'm not in your life force. I'm not in the pinda. I'm not in the body. I'm not in the space and the whole space around this universe. I'm not there. Sab swasan ki swas mein. I'm there in the breath of all beings. And where am I? Where can you find? You can find me in the breath of all beings. Khoji hoya turat mil jao. You search for me in that breath. With that breath, the inhalation and the exhalation, you search for me. Ik pal ki lash mein. In one moment, you can find me. Kahe Kabir suno bhai sadhu, says Kabir. Oh sadhu, listen. Main to hu vishwas mein. Main to hu vishwas mein. I am in your love. I am in your belief. Where can you find me? You can find me so close to you. If you love Vedanta, if you have belief in Vedanta, if you have faith in the words of Adi Shankaracharya, if you have faith that you can learn about moksha and strive for moksha, in that belief, Ishvara is there, Bhagavan is there, God is there, and that belief, that vishwas, that faith will take us through all our strivings and trials and tribulations. So this is what Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya had said. Whatever you do, you will not get that self. So many actions, so many methods, so many practices, You have to drop all those practices and search within through the means that the Shastras and the Guru point out. Look within, because we are everything that we get in life, we are conditioned by those practices. We get joy when we do japa, we think that we have arrived. When we do yoga sadhanas, we feel very good. That feel good factor thinks, we think that we have arrived at where we want to reach. It is not by all these means, it's not by any action, any words, any letters, any thoughts, any feelings, or any emotions, any company of other people, or even achievements, great, great achievements in life, becoming very famous, having a lot of people around us, having so many friends on Facebook, followers, Instagram, Twitter, Spotify, everywhere. It doesn't happen because of that. It happens because of searching within where we should search. So, with this, we will conclude. Tomorrow, we will begin with the next few verses of Vivekachoodamani. Om Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. बोले श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. हरि ओम.